Now at 5, what is that smell? Indigo bus passengers want to know, and they want to know if there's a safety concern. For too many drivers, stop means go. Parents want something done about people who ignore the stop arms on a school bus. What they're asking for tonight.
It's looked like rain today, but the rain arrives Saturday. We'll have more on the timing and potential amounts.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
A bad smell on an Indigo bus causes concern this morning. Passengers were coughing. The smell was so bad, they called RTV6 to figure out why the bus was not evacuated. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is working for you tonight.
One rider tells me the bus hadn't even left the station yet before several people were coughing from the smell. He says the bus driver went and got a supervisor who told him simply to roll the windows down and drive on.
My eyes was running, nose was running, I couldn't breathe.
Sam takes an Indigo bus to work every day, but today he says there was a noticeable bad smell wafting through the bus, causing all the riders to cough. He overheard what he thought was a supervisor tell the driver to roll the windows down and go ahead. He says some people got off the bus at that point, but he stayed on because he still had to get to work. His supervisor immediately noticed something was wrong.
It must have been really bad because, like I said, when I stepped off the bus, I actually had to wait a few minutes to get myself together, get my breathing going back to where it was, pull myself together, then come across the street to where I work at. And when I got in, she was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with you?" I told her what happened, and the first thing she said was call Channel 6.
Coming up at 6, we reach out to Indigo to see what might have caused the smell. Their response just ahead. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thanks, Steph. If you have an issue and you are not getting the answers you need, reach out to us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. Tonight, we have new information about what happened just seconds before a vehicle plunged off a downtown parking garage. The crash Wednesday morning killed 2 people from Illinois. Investigators say 73-year-old Charles Hunt and 70-year-old Iristine Hunt were in an SUV that struck the rear corner of an unoccupied vehicle. The SUV then hit a wall and fell 3 stories to the ground. Charles and Iristine Hunt died at the scene. Police are now trying to figure out what led to the initial crash inside the parking garage. And RTV6 is working for you, getting answers for a mother who is concerned about her son's safety and the safety of other children boarding the bus. She shared this video showing cars passing by the bus as the stop arm is extended in Morgan County. Our Nicole Griffin is finding out tonight how police and the school district are responding and their message for drivers.
That family lives right here along State Road 144 in Mooresville, and their son, who is just in kindergarten, walks down his driveway here and boards his bus on State Road 144. But over and over again, they're seeing drivers on the opposite side of the road pass by the bus as it stopped. And the mother says she's worried about his safety, and she wants something done to alert those drivers that they have to stop. As a driver approaches a school bus with its stop arm out, Mooresville bus drivers are trained to honk and alert them of the unsafe situation they're causing.
You have to stop. If there's no median, it's no questions. You have to stop.
Kimberly Baker shared these videos taken outside of her home on State Road 144 near Rooker Road. She says drivers passing by her son's bus with the stop arm out is something that happens almost daily.
There is nothing more important than stopping for that school bus. You have to think about what the end is. You lose control, you do anything abnormal, and you're going to kill somebody. It's very easy to do. And it's awful.
A spokeswoman with Mooresville Schools says they are working with Kimberly and have already taken steps to monitor the area with police and school personnel in marked and unmarked vehicles. One driver has already been caught this year violating stop arm laws at this location. In Thursday's e-newsletter sent to families, there was even a reminder about bus stop safety. Kimberly also now has a case open with INDOT, hoping to get signs installed that alert drivers of the bus stop. INDOT says for this type of issue, a traffic study would need to be completed. Working for you in Mooresville, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
And all Mooresville bus stops are on 2-lane roads, which require drivers to stop for school buses. Coming up tonight at 6, our Nicole Griffin is finding out how Mooresville Schools hopes new technology being installed on the bus will help catch stop arm violators. Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill has finished testifying on the 4th and final day of the Indiana Supreme Court Disciplinary Commission hearing. That hearing is to determine if Hill faces any legal discipline for the accusations of sexual misconduct at AJ's Lounge in the early hours of March 15th of 2018. The Indiana Supreme Court will decide whether to impose a penalty ranging from a reprimand to removal of Hill's law license. The decision could take months. In his testimony today, Hill was adamant that he did not inappropriately touch any of the 4 accusers or anybody at the party at AJ's Lounge.
Gray is the color of the day. Lots of cloud cover around, and boy, that nice, cool north breeze. And I say nice in the sense it's not been as windy. We do have some very light showers to go investigate. Go down to the south of Sullivan, southwest of Bloomfield. These are drifting to the north and east, enough to get the street wet. Perhaps turn on the intermittent wipers over Lake Monroe into Brown County and Columbus. This will drift north and east, crossing 31 and I-65. Very light showers. Temperature stuck in the mid-50s. 56 in Indy, Peru and Lafayette at 54. Remember, yesterday's temperature 65 degrees for the afternoon high. We've definitely taken a step back. Clouds will continue to thicken and lower as the rain from the southwest approaches. Let's go take a look. 7 o'clock tonight, there are very light showers. Terre Haute to around Greensburg south. They drift to the north and east. These spotty light showers possible through bedtime probably. Temperature at 53 at 8 o'clock. Through the overnight hours, temperatures will be slow to change. The clouds aren't going anywhere. As we get to the morning hours tomorrow, upper 40s, mostly cloudy. That light north wind will continue. We'll talk about what's ahead Friday afternoon for Friday night football and why, if you have Saturday plans, you need to see the forecast.
We are working to find out more about the man who led police on a chase through 2 counties overnight on I-70. Metro Police say they noticed that a pickup and its license plate did not match and tried to pull the vehicle over near 14th Street in Pershing. The truck sped up, reaching 100 miles per hour, going eastbound on I-70. Stop sticks were used to slow the driver down near the Post Road exit, and the truck eventually lost a front tire. The chase ended a short time later in Hancock County near the Greenfield exit, and the driver was arrested. No one was hurt. New developments in the case of an abandoned baby found inside a plastic bag last week in Seymour. We have learned the baby is out of the hospital and with a foster family. And police say they found strands of hair inside the Walmart bag where the 2 to 3 hour old newborn was found by a woman walking her dog along South Jackson Park Drive. Now, for the first time, we are hearing the 911 calls from that shocking discovery.
Seymour, please.
Yeah, I need an officer over here at Jackson Park Apartments.
Okay, what's going on?
I took my dog for a walk over here across the street, and back in the woods, I found a newborn baby tied up in a Walmart bag.
Police are still trying to figure out who the mother is and why the baby was abandoned. Investigators have canvassed the area and looked for surveillance video, evidence collected from the scene, including the bag, the towel the baby was wrapped in, and anything the baby was laid on will be sent to the Indiana State Police Lab. If you have any info on this case, contact Seymour Police. Thousands of Hoosiers will have food on their tables thanks to the Million Meal Movement and Bosma Enterprises. Today, nearly a dozen Bosma employees packaged 2,000 meals that will be donated to Indiana veterans and their families. Shane Scarlett with the Million Meal Movement says 1 in 5 Hoosiers struggle to put food on their plates daily. And with the holidays coming up, the need is even greater.
These meals have a shelf life of 3 years, so they'll go as far as 3 years, but they won't take that long. They'll probably be distributed out in about a month or 2.
Last year, the Million Meal Movement packed 1.8 million meals, feeding 460,000 Hoosier families. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, students all over America are vying for millions of dollars in a futuristic kind of scholarship. How esports is taking a new role in education next on the Now Indy. But first, the new cries for more transparency in the impeachment investigation. Why some say it's more of a smokescreen attempt.
And we wait on more substantial rain chances. I showed you just a couple minutes ago. We have some light showers around, but a much different story as we step into the weekend. More on the timing and potential rainfall amounts Saturday coming up.
Boom. Tickets at HamiltonMusical.com.
We turn now to Washington, where Republicans are demanding the impeachment inquiry be made public. Democrats say Republicans are trying to distract from explosive testimony against the president as they press on with their investigation. Republicans are continuing to ramp up the pressure. ABC News' Rachel Scott is in Washington with more.
It was a plan to bring the latest round of questioning in the impeachment investigation to a standstill.
We demand open proceedings. The American people deserve nothing less.
And now, a day later, President Trump is thanking House Republicans for being tough and smart, calling the impeachment probe a witch hunt and total scam. Just yesterday, Republicans barged into a closed-door hearing, successfully delaying the testimony of a key witness in the probe. Roughly a dozen of the Republicans causing the disruption were members of the committees leading the inquiry and already had access to the room.
We should remind people that behind closed doors there were some 100 members of the House, Democrats and Republicans, who were witnessing and asking questions.
But it is standard procedure for depositions to be done behind closed doors, and it is exactly how the GOP handled the Benghazi investigation in 2015. The deposition with Laura Cooper, the top Pentagon official overseeing Ukraine, finally starting 5 hours after it was set to begin. As the Ukraine saga unfolds, President Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing.
There was no quid pro quo.
But when the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, testified behind closed doors, he described in detail a quid pro quo pressure campaign. Taylor says the U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, told him the president wanted Ukraine to announce a public investigation into Joe Biden and his family, and millions in military aid would be frozen until that announcement. Sondland told congressional investigators that President Trump directed him and others to work with his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to push Ukraine to announce investigations. But he says he was in the dark about the extent of those efforts and the political motive behind it. And this afternoon, Senator Lindsey Graham is expected to introduce a resolution condemning House Democrats for how they've handled this impeachment probe, calling it unconstitutional. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
Lawmakers put aside their differences today to honor Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings. The widely respected Democrat died at 68 years old after complications from health challenges. Today, his colleagues from both parties came to pay their respects. Cummings is the first African-American lawmaker to lie in state at the Capitol Rotunda. As the chairman of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, Cummings held a prominent role in the impeachment inquiry. But today, Democrats and Republicans called a truce.
Perhaps this place in this country would be better served with a few more unexpected friendships. I know I've been blessed by one.
Cummings was serving his 13th term in the House when he died last week due to complications from health challenges. A funeral for the civil rights leader will be held tomorrow. Former President Barack Obama and Bill Clinton are scheduled to speak. For the first time, U.S. health regulators are deeming a type of smoker's tobacco safer than cigarettes. Snooze pouches are the first so-called reduced risk product approved by the FDA. Officials are hopeful that this could open the door to other less harmful options for smokers. However, the FDA wants to stress this does not mean the product is safe, just less risky than other choices. The pouches will still have government warnings for cancer, gum disease, and tooth loss. The FDA is recommending so-called boxed warning labeling materials for breast implants. Boxed warnings are the strongest FDA-required warning for labeling. They notify consumers and healthcare providers about potential serious risks of certain drugs and devices. One warning states that, quote, breast implants are not considered lifetime devices. The FDA published the recommendations, but they have not yet been finalized. The move comes after breast cancer patients testified before the FDA in March about implant-associated illnesses and cancers. Some Southern California residents are under mandatory evacuation orders as flames scorched 75 acres. The Old Water fire started early this morning in San Bernardino County, which neighbors Los Angeles County to the east. Multiple fire crews are using heavy machinery and air support to battle those flames. Dry air and powerful winds are making the effort difficult. A portion of one highway in the area is closed as firefighters work. It is not known what sparked this fire. Weather conditions favorable for wildfires have put much of Southern and Northern California under red flag fire warnings. And a new study finds that humid and windy days are worse for pain. Researchers say the weather aggravates pain for people with arthritis, fibromyalgia, and other chronic conditions. Data was gathered from 13,000 people across the UK during 2016. They recovered their symptoms in a smartphone app. Now, scientists used GPS data from their phones to record weather conditions. Dry days were found to be least likely to be painful. There was no recorded association between pain and rainfall or temperature, just wind and humidity. Researchers say the study could mean people with chronic pain can plan their activities based on predicted levels of pain. Interesting.
Very interesting. And boy, as Hoosiers, we have big swings in the humidity as well as quite windy conditions at times. Okay, it's looked like rain today. We've had a few sprinkles. The real rain event comes in on Saturday, the way we see it right now. Temperature of 60 for the first half of the weekend. We'll spend most of the weekend around 60. It will be windy and wet Saturday. More on that in a second. Sunday we'll have a chance to dry out, and we may well need that opportunity to dry out. In general, kind of a broad brush, 1 to 3 inch rainfall potential across the state, central Indiana, during the day on Saturday, and this works its way from southern portions of Indiana to central and northern portions. Now, these are 4 different models, all predicting Indianapolis rainfall from Saturday morning to Sunday morning. They've kind of come into alignment now, all reflecting around 2 inches of rain, a little less with one of those, but fits nicely in that 1 to 3 inch band that we talked about. As we show you the scan of radar, we'll go down to the south, very light shade of green here. Maybe it's a vision test for you. Bloomfield to Bloomington and Lake Monroe, some showers. Also Story, Indiana, up to Nashville, and then Columbus. We'll probably clip the Edinburgh outlet malls along I-65 there as that drifts to the north and east. Temperatures slow to change. We're in the 50s now. We'll still be in the 50s next several hours. In the morning tomorrow, only in the upper 40s. Anywhere in the metro area now within 3 or 4 degrees of the mid-50s. To the north, 48 in Gary. If you get the wind off the lake, that's what happens. 60 in Evansville. Temperature in Indianapolis at 56. Say hello to Chester. He is barely bigger than the pumpkin. You got to love the little guy. And Judy Tanner, sent in the picture. Thanks for doing that. 54 degrees, maybe a couple of showers here early. I like the sweater idea. We'll need that as we do have that chance of a rain-snow mix Wednesday night and again Thursday, Halloween, especially from Indy Northwest if we see any snow mixing in there. 53 at noon tomorrow. We'll end your Friday cool, generally dry, and cloudy. As far as our Friday night football, temperatures will slowly change from the afternoon highs in the upper 50s as we get the game started. Kickoff temperature in central Indiana, 56, down to 51 by the time we get to the end of the games. Of course, it's playoff time for high school football. 60 degrees Saturday, temperature on Sunday in the lower 60s. Here's the rain shield, and that's what I would call it. Moving from south to north by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we should all be experiencing rain. That will impact some football games up in West Lafayette. The Boilers playing against Illinois. Still raining in the evening and then swinging through overnight into Sunday morning. Another wave of rain. Here's a 7-day forecast. As we mentioned, it will get much colder next week. Wednesday's high 48. Possible we'll see a rain-snow mix Wednesday night, and again Thursday. Thursday's high 45, but we'll be in the 20s during the morning hours next Thursday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that one. All right, thank you, Kevin. What would you do if you suddenly had thousands of dollars in your hand? In this case, there was a right answer. The story when we come back.
Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Hello and a very good day to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV Live, and we continue bringing you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of a head-spinning murder trial happening right now in Wisconsin. Defendant Ezra McCandless is accused of stabbing one of her 3 lovers to death. She says, though, it was in self-defense, but the state says it was cold-blooded murder. Alex Woodworth was stabbed 16 times back in March of 2018. His death was brutal, but McCandless possibly stabbed him to protect herself from a violent sexual assault. That is what the defense says. Or did she kill him to win back the love of a man named Jason Mangle? These are all questions this jury will have to sort through. Yesterday, Mangle took the stand testifying on behalf of the state, and McCandless looked very happy to see him when he walked in the room. This morning, he was cross-examined by the defense, and it was contentious, to say the least. So what will the jury make of his testimony? The state will be calling friends and former roommates of victim Alex Woodworth throughout the day today. And as always, you can count on Court TV for live gavel-to-gavel coverage. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio. And you can learn more about other cases around the nation right now at courttv.com. A pair of Valparaiso employees proves that there's still good in the world. Jennifer Kimes, an employee at Plato's Closet, was looking through a jacket that had just been dropped off when she found a wad of cash in the pocket. It turns out there was $7,000 in there. Jennifer says she immediately put the cash in the safe and called her boss, Tammy Wenland. The pair were able to contact the jacket's owner and return the money.
Doing the right thing, it's rewarding intrinsically. It makes you feel good inside to do the right thing, and there's really nothing as special as feeling good inside.
The women say the customer had hidden the money but forgot where. Remember, it always pays to double check your pockets. All new at 6 p.m., neighbors worried for their safety. Their road is crumbling, and they say they've been trying to get it fixed for years. Working for you, we take their concerns to the city, and we are getting results. But first on the Now, Indy, grain bin accidents happen more than you think. Why now is the best time to get first responders prepared? You're watching RTV6.